How are you?
Great.
How have the last couple days been for you?
Amazing.
Tell me how.
Well, I've done a lot of this work on sort of dealing with subconscious drivers for a long time. And so this is just, I knew when I saw you in New York City that this was the opportunity to take it into my professional life and relationship with money and all of that. So it's been really deep.
Yeah.
And kind of exhausting in some ways.
Yeah.
It's deep
You
work.
should try it in heels, yeah.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. Just kidding. No, and we have more work to do tomorrow.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Because we're not done with you yet. So stick around. So tell everybody what you do.
Okay, so I'm Rebekah Marler with metaleaders.org. It's Metamorphosis Leadership Systems. And I work on leadership development primarily with urban school leaders.
And tell us how many clients you have and how many clients you need.
Okay, so right now I'm sort of in a transition point. I've had about 5 to 7 in the first 2 years of starting this, about a year and a half. And right now I'm at about 3. Mm-hmm. And I need, how many do I need to make this really work well? Probably at least 10, between 10 and 15.
Okay. So how much is each new client worth to you?
Approximately between $15,000 and $20,000 a year, probably.
Okay. Can somebody take out your, oh no, I think I can do this. I think I can do 7 times 20, 140,000. Mm-hmm. So that's your gap. Mm-hmm. This is what's called a gap analysis. This is why I want you to do your, fill out that form, because that will be your gap analysis so you know where you are in your business. So you're at 3 clients. Conservatively, to be okay, you said 10 to 12, but we'll just stay conservative at 10 because it's easier math for me. The difference is 7 times 20 is 140,000. So right now you are $140,000 away from where you would like to be. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's right. Substantial, yeah. What are you doing right now to market your business?
Well, I had an experience with the list that the conflicting sort of chaotic messaging and vibrations that we were talking about this morning, that I keep going back. The reason I sort of left the school system is there's sort of a huge gap of providing any kind of adult development or adult learning. So I left because I was fortunate enough to experience it. And so now I keep trying to bizarrely sell it back to people that weren't invested in buying it anyway. So I've been circling around. That's why this has been so deep for me, because I realize what I'm doing is expending a lot of energy on trying to convince people that aren't necessarily interested in it. So I don't have an active website yet. I have like a Facebook page linked to a site, and I use word of mouth. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So who are you here with, or who have you really connected with today?
Today,
or yesterday, or
there's a few people. I don't know if I'll remember all the names. But
okay, so who has connected with Rebekah today? Raise your hand. Okay, pick one. Janine?
Janine.
Okay, so here's what we do in the gold and the platinum. When we have a hot seat or masterminding, your daily accountability buddy takes notes for you. So Janine, would you take that role today and take notes for Rebekah? Because we're going to give her some pointers. So it's a lack of clarity on who your ideal client is. Because right now, if you knew, this is your biggest block, yeah? If you knew who your ideal client was, then you could have the website, the this, the that, and you could market. Right. So the first thing, I mean, you know this, but I'm just going to have her write it down. The first thing that you need to do is change the who. Right. So have you ever worked with your ideal client?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about your ideal client.
They think sort of above the system, and they recognize that the work I'm doing is
Let's
about
even
them.
backtrack even more. What kind of people are they? What demographics? Are they individuals?
Yes.
Okay, how old are they?
Close to my age, like 30s, 40s.
Okay, so 35 to 45? Mm-hmm. We're going into like advertising, right? Mm-hmm, like there's 35 to 54, 35 to yeah, let's say 35 to 54, yeah? You good with that? And male or female?
Both. I've had both.
Okay. And yes, so, but is there one that's more yummy than the other?
No, not really.
Okay. And just say more about that ideal client. Who was that person? Just list everything that you know about that person that made them ideal. Because here's one of the things, when you're looking for the right who, this is what we teach in our programs, it's almost like you want to open up your virtual, and you can actually do it in your office, your virtual file cabinet, and take out all your client folders and spread them out on the floor. And then look at an ideal client. You might want to write this down for yourself. An ideal client is somebody who recognizes that working with you is essential, who has a problem that you can solve really well, who doesn't try to negotiate your rates, somebody who gets great results, which means that they tell others about you. They write you kick butt testimonials. Yes, that is an official marketing term, kick butt testimonials. And did I say they refer clients to you? 1 second. One more. Derek, it's only 3. All of those things. So when you know that's the ideal client criteria for most people. You lay out all the folders and you start to grade them. Take a Sharpie and you grade the manila envelopes, like A, like fits all 5 of those categories. C, definitely not. F, like, ugh, that's the heart sink client. When you see them on your calendar, like you see like Bob on your calendar at 3 p.m. and your heart sinks to your stomach like, oh no, that's an F, right? So you label all of them. This is really rudimentary, but man, it works. And then you stack all the A's together and the B's, and then you push all the C's, D's, and F's to the side, and you start going through the folders, the A's, the B's, etc., and see what are the common denominators of these people that I can create an avatar with. An avatar being a muse. So I would like for you to think about who that is and what are the common denominators and how can you create a muse. So Ramp Up Rachel is a muse. She is my compilation of my yummy Goldie clients. And I started thinking, who is she? And Rob, to Ramp Up Rob, who is he? What are his issues? And what does he need most right now? And when you create that person, when it comes time to marketing, when it comes down to writing the compelling marketing message, to creating programs, to creating rates, to knowing where to market, where to find them, where do they hang out in large numbers, what signature talk title would they say, yes, I'm going to cancel my Tuesday evening dinner plans to come and see you. It's so simple because you actually have that person burned in the brain. When I write my e-zine or I do my e-zine video for every Friday, I know who I'm talking to. Now, if you knew who you were talking to, would this whole thing be super easy?
Yes. And I have a question attached to it.
Yeah, sure.
Because I think a lot of the ideal people are this is a mindset issue for them because they're operating in a way that any of the training that they do take is paid for by a school district, which is what got me caught up spending my whole 16-year career in public education. There's sort of someone else in charge of what you get to do for yourself. Yeah. And so because I've paid obviously on the outside through my whole career for additional coaching, but breaking into that messaging because it's sort of looked at as what will they allow us to pay for? Yeah.
So guess what? You're on an education crusade. Your job now is educating your ideal. If this is really your ideal client, your job is to figure out how to educate them so that they understand that they must pay out of pocket for you. Makes sense, yeah?
makes sense.
So then how would you do that?
I do a lot of public speaking now and a lot of engaging presentations. I like to get people up and make them dance, so I've been loving this.
Oh, yeah.
And do things really out of the box that are sort of about self-leadership. So I've been thinking about, as you've been talking about presentations and workshops, ways to kind of introduce it to people and make it in some way affordable. So if I was doing it at scale, because I know it's a very different, but I haven't thought about the exact details, but I do think things that connect with human spirit are ways to, and that's where I get caught up. So the people that I have talked to are probably laughing because I've said the why for me is such a driver that when I have this desire to sort of break out of education and just do this work with leadership development wherever, writing, art, but I feel like the kids and schools here, and that's why I was so moved with what happened with the schools in Africa, that here the school leaders and a lot of the teachers feel like they're under attack and they feel like places of failure. So I feel committed to sort of stay, but I'm not sure if that's because of my old attachments or...
Yeah. Here's what I think is going on. You're clinging.
I think
because
so.
you feel like you should.
Mm-hmm.
True?
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So here's what I've known, is when you go play a bigger game and you keep pushing in one direction, and I believe in perseverance and all of that, but you keep pushing in one direction and it doesn't budge. It is the universe trying to say, no, you're calibrated slightly wrong. You just need to go tick, tick, tick. And when you head in that direction, or quite the opposite, tick, 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 and when you head in that right direction, all things open up. So one of the things that we're probably going to talk about tomorrow, or we can talk about it now, is that everybody has rules, right? Like we talked about the rule that you can only have one mentor. Who made up that rule? Right? The rule that you can only work in this sector. Who made up that rule? There is this concept of a fly that is in a room full of windows, and it keeps trying to hit the window pane and trying to get out. And it doesn't realize that it cannot get through the glass. And it is so focused on trying to get through the glass that it doesn't see that there's a window open on the other side of the room. And this fly will continue on the same pane of glass until it dies on the windowsill.
Thank God I'm here.
Yes, I'm glad you're here.
So can I tell you really quickly what happened with the list? Because I think it's very related. So the list, today after you talked about chaotic vibrations, and I started realizing
You're talking about the 50 ways list?
The 50 ways list. I'm not sure if maybe I broke a rule, but it didn't matter to me. I went back and looked at the list and crossed off all of the ways that I have been feeling like a fly. And over the course of the morning, as you kept progressing through writing exercises, it was so crazy. I felt like jumping up to a mic in the middle of it, that every one of the, there might have been 10, because I got to 50, but there might have been 10 that were waste of time, like the fly against the window pane. And they all got filled in through the writing experiences in ways that had nothing to do with this. It was, so when you're saying, I'm really ready to hear it, I'm ready to hear that.
High five, girlfriend. Yeah. Yeah. It's time to look across the room to the open window. And then when you're ready to go in that direction, let's mark it. Let's get a website. Let's do the thing. Let's figure out who they are, where they hang out. Let's create programs. Let's educate. I think you're paddling upstream, where all we need to do is change the direction of the canoe, and then you're going to glide downstream. Yeah. Can you give her a hand?
Thank you.
You're welcome.